Okay, so we're Sirach Chapter 20, verse 26, page 90.
What was that? Page 90. But we're
Chapter 20,
Yep, Sirach 20,
verse 26.
right at the top, right? The disposition of a liar brings disgrace, and his shame is ever with him. He who speaks wisely will advance himself, and a sensible man will please great men. Whoever cultivates the soil will heap up his harvest, and whoever pleases great men will atone for injustice. Presents and gifts blind the eyes of the wise. Like a muzzle on the mouth, they avert reproofs. So that's a big problem. I mean, it would be bribery of like judges. That was a pronouncement in the Old Testament. Judges are influenced by outside desires, and we see that still in our society today, right? Hidden wisdom and unseen treasure. What advantage is there in either of them? Better is the man who hides his folly than the man who hides his wisdom. Various sins and foolishness. Have you sinned, my son? Do so no more. What did Jesus tell the woman?
Go and sin
Go
no
and
more.
sin no more. So that doesn't mean you can't lose your salvation. Go and sin some more. They got that off. Flee from sin as from a snake. For if you approach sin, it will bite you. Its teeth are lion's teeth and destroys the soul of men. So we flee from sin, right? There's certain sins that it calls to flee from. All lawlessness is like a two-edged sword. There is no healing for its wound. Terror and violence will lay waste riches. Thus the house of the proud will lay waste. The prayer of a poor man goes from his lips to the ears of God. So God hears the poor, right? And his judgment comes speedily. Whoever hates reproof walks in the steps of a sinner, but he that fears the Lord will repent in his heart. He who is mighty in speech is known from afar, but the sensible man, when he slips, is aware of it. A man who builds his house with other people's money is like one who gathers stones for its burial mound. An assembly of the wicked is like tow gathered together, and their end is a flame of fire. The way of sinners is smoothly paved with stones, but at its end is the pit of Hades. So the road is wide, it leads to destruction, and the number that go there are
many.
Yeah. St. John Bosco had a vision of hell, basically, and it started off smooth, and then it got steeper and steeper, and people, once they got on it, they couldn't stop, and they tumbled off into hell. Whoever keeps the law controls his thoughts, and wisdom is the fulfillment of the fear of the Lord. He who is not clever cannot be taught, but there is a cleverness which increases bitterness. While cleverness is good to be sought, it can also be used to deceive or hurt others, making them resentful. The knowledge of a wise man will increase like a flood, and his counsel like a flowing spring. The mind of a fool is like a broken jar. It will hold no knowledge. It can't contain anything. When a man of understanding hears a wise saying, he will praise it and add to it. When a reveler hears it, he dislikes it and casts it behind his back. A fool's narration is like a burden on a journey, but delight will be found in the speech of the intelligent. The utterance of a sensible man will be sought in the assembly, and they will ponder his words with their minds. Like a house that has vanished, so is wisdom to a fool, and the knowledge of the ignorant is unexamined talk. To a senseless man, education is chains on his feet, and like manacles on his right hand. A fool raises his voice when he laughs, but a clever man smiles quietly. To a sensible man, education is like a golden ornament, and like a bracelet on the right arm. The foot of a fool rushes into a house, but a man of experience stands respectfully before it. So bad social manners of fools are contrasted with the good manners of the wise. A boar peers into the house from the door, but a cultivated man remains outside. It is ill-mannered for a man to listen at a door, and a discreet man is grieved by the disgrace. The lips of strangers will speak of these things, but the words of the prudent will be weighed in the balance. So we should also be careful. So in James, what did it say? It said the tongue is like, it's the smallest, but it's like the rudder that steers the boat. And so we will have to account for every word that we utter. That's another thing that we should contemplate. So every word we utter, we're going to have to answer to also, along with what we do with what God gave us. The lips of strangers will speak of these things. Okay, but the words of the prudent will be weighed in balance. The mind of fools is in their mouth, but the mouth of wise men is in their mind. When an ungodly man curses his adversary, he curses his own soul. A whisperer defiles his own soul and is hated in the neighborhood. So this is a gossip. So someone who gossips, he hurts his own reputation. And actually, when someone's tries to gossip, I say, well, so what do you gossip to me behind my back? About me behind my back. I point that out. A few times I've done that where it's like just to show people that that's not something that's acceptable. I think that's important because because if you love somebody else, you want the best for them, and the best for them would be that they stop gossiping, right? And so sometimes you got to point it out, and then you can kind of show where I'm not going to participate in this because I don't agree with it. And wisdom, folly, and self-control. The indolent may be compared to a filthy stone, and everyone hisses at his disgrace. The indolent may be compared to the filth of dunghills. Anyone that picks it up will shake it off his hand. It is a disgrace to be the father of an undisciplined son, and the birth of a daughter is a loss. So these are not. A sensible daughter obtains her husband, but one who acts shamefully brings grief to her father. An impudent daughter disgraces father and husband, and will be despised by both. Like music in the morning is a tale told at the wrong time, but chastening and disciplining are wisdom at all times. He who teaches a fool is like one who glues potsherds together. A broken pot, even if repaired, will not hold its content reliably. Unless they use they didn't have super glue at that time, so this may not be applicable anymore. Or who rouses a sleeper from deep slumber. He who tells a story to a fool tells it to a drowsy man. And at the end he will say, what is it? Weep for the dead, for he lacks the light, and weep for the fool, for he lacks intelligence. Weep less bitterly for the dead, for he has attained rest. But the life of the fool is worse than death. That's kind of interesting, too. It says here that, one naturally mourns the dead, one should mourn the fool even more, because lacking sense, which is essentially to a fully human life, is as if he was never alive in the first place. Do not talk much with a foolish man, and do not visit an unintelligent man. Guard yourself from him to escape trouble, and you will not be soiled when he shakes himself off. Avoid him, and you will find rest, and you will never be wearied by his madness. What is heavier than lead? And what is its name except fool? Sand, salt, and a piece of iron are easier to bear than a stupid man. Items that are difficult to carry are not as burdensome as a fool. A wooden beam firmly bonded into a building will not be torn loose by an earthquake. So the mind firmly fixed on a reasonable counsel will not be afraid in a crisis. A mind settled on an intelligent thought is like the stucco decoration on the wall of colonnade. Fences set on a high place will not stand firm against the wind, So a timid heart with a fool's purpose will not stand firm against any fear. A man who pricks an eye will make tears fall, and one who pricks his heart makes it show feeling. One who throws a stone at birds scares them away, and one who reviles a friend will break off the friendship. Even if you have drawn your sword against a friend, do not despair, for a renewal of friendship is possible. It says friendships can be healed after violent arguments, but if a friend is insulted or his trust betrayed, reconciliation will be much more difficult. If you have opened your mouth against a friend, do not worry, for reconciliation is possible. But as for reviling, arrogance, disclosure of secrets, or a treacherous blow, in these cases any friend will flee. Gain the trust of your neighbor in his poverty, that you may rejoice with him in his prosperity. Stand by him in his time of affliction, that you may share with him in his inheritance. So what did Job's friends do? They sat there and listened, and then they just gave it to him, right? It was maybe in their mind they were standing with him, but they said, this is all your fault because you must have done something wrong, and that's why God's punishing you. The vapor and smoke of the furnace precede the fire, so insults precede bloodsheds. So that's true, right? People typically will insult, and then blows will happen. I will not be ashamed to protect a friend, and I will not hide from him. But if some harm should happen to me because of him, whoever hears of it will beware of him. Oh, that a guard were set over my mouth, and a seal of prudence upon my lips, that it may keep me from falling, so that my tongue may not destroy me. I think this is,
Prayer.
what's that?
That's a great prayer.
It sure is, and I think all too often now, I mean, we see things, it says tongue, but think social media. I mean, it's the word in written. It's the written word. And people use social media to do so much evil. And it's unrestrained just because you're not there in person. They think they can say anything, do anything. And that's what we see that's happening in our society just continually. So I think we will stand and pray.